President Trump is weighing in after Facebook banned several figures they've deemed extremists. The majority of those folks are from the far right. The president said, quote, "I'm continuing to monitor the censorship of American citizens on social media platforms. This is the United States of America, and we have what's known as freedom of speech." The president also retweeted several right-wing accounts this weekend, including a 9/11 conspiracy theorist. So joining me now to talk about this is CBSN contributor and editor-in-chief for Wired magazine, Nick Thompson. Okay, Nick, so explain to our audience who's been banned and what criteria is being used.
Well, the ban has been applied to 7 people, including Alex Jones, Louis Farrakhan, Paul Joseph Watson, who was Alex Jones's deputy, Milo Yiannopoulos, Laura Loomer, basically a large number of people on the far conspiracy theory spreading right, as well as Louis Farrakhan. The reason for the ban is that Facebook has policies about spreading hate. If you violate them a certain number of times, you get banned. Facebook analyzed it and decided that those 7 accounts had crossed the line. Of course, these decisions are also political, so Facebook also decided that now was a moment to unveil this mass ban.
So just give a sense of what this criteria is that they use. I mean, how do they know? I think we've talked about this before, Nick. I think we did it last week when you were on CBS This Morning with us. Who decides what's offensive and what is not? What is offensive to one person may not be necessarily offensive to somebody else. So how does Facebook decide that? Is it an algorithm? Are they actual human beings?
So in the case of hate speech, it's human beings, right? So Facebook has a number of categories of content that they try to take off the platform. For example, nudity, content promoting terrorism. And in those 2 categories, it's very easy for algorithms to determine what is and what isn't. A computer can determine what is naked and what is not naked. It can determine what is pro-terrorist content. It can determine what is not. With hate speech, it's by far the hardest category, and the category where Facebook uses the fewest algorithms and relies on humans the most. So what will generally happen is a computer may flag something or a user may flag something. Then it goes to a review of humans, and then eventually it's escalated up the chain. If it's a high-profile personality or if the act that Facebook will take in response is an extreme one, like banning someone from the platform. Those decisions are made by a small group of very senior people at Facebook who sit around a table and make choices.
All right. As we mentioned, the president, why do you think the president of the United States is so invested in the protection of these far-right or these extremist social media users?
There are a couple of reasons. So a cynical reading would be that Facebook in the past, when threatened by the right, accusations that they are a censor or that they are unfair to the right, Facebook has then turned a blind eye. So during the 2016 election, one of the reasons there was so much Russian propaganda, as well as fake news with headlines like the Pope endorses Donald Trump, was because Facebook was afraid to take that down because they feared criticism from the right, particularly senators who help regulate Facebook. So the right wing knows that putting pressure on Facebook gets them better results. So that would be a cynical reading. A less cynical reading would be that Trump genuinely cares about free speech. And there is no question that there's a trade-off that Facebook has to decide between keeping the platform safe and allowing lots of free speech, and that Facebook's position has shifted. So an uncynical reading would say Trump genuinely cares about free speech. I guess a third hypothesis would be by retweeting all of these conspiracy theorists who are also very pro-Trump, he's going to drive lots of followers to them on Twitter that will help them amplify their message and will help his reelection.
All right. He's said, though, that he's monitoring censorship. I'm not asking you to read into the president's mind, but is there a sense from people in the tech world that what's happening at Facebook is censorship?
I don't think there is. I think if it went much further, I mean, these are all people who have very much fomented hate, who have spread manifestly untrue information, such as the theory that Sandy Hook was staged by crisis actors. There's no question within the tech community that there has to be a line somewhere. And there's no question that if there is a line somewhere, these are probably the people who are influential and have crossed it. Now, it is possible that Facebook, if it goes further and starts mass banning people on the right, or if it takes much more extreme actions, then there will be people in Silicon Valley and the tech community who turn against it. Remember, free speech is one of the fundamental ideals of Silicon Valley. It comes out of the counterculture of the 1960s in certain ways, and there's a real libertarian strand in Silicon Valley. So it's possible that Facebook could go too far, but the general consensus is that they haven't gone far enough and that this is a step in the right direction.
All right, Nick Thompson, always great to have you to break this stuff down for us. We appreciate it, Nick.
Thank you so much.